Let's have a look at how MSNBC covered the huge Trump rally at Madison Square Garden, which featured everyone from Melania to Hulk Hogan to Dr. Phil and Tucker Carlson, and also Trump's dream team. Those are the people expected to be part of his administration, the likes of Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy, Tulsi Gabbard and Robert F. Kennedy. It was a jubilant affair, but let's hear how MSNBC covered it. This is insane.
In that place is particularly chilling because in 1939, more than 20,000 supporters of a different fascist leader, Adolf Hitler, packed the garden for a so-called pro-America rally, a rally where speakers voiced anti-Semitic rhetoric from a stage draped with Nazi banners. When a Jewish protester rushed the stage, the Associated Press reported, quote, instantly, a dozen or more stormtroopers set upon him, knocking him down and beating him as he held his head in his arms. Most of his clothing was torn from his body. Later, he was booked for disorderly conduct. Now, against that backdrop of history,
and it wasn't just MSNBC where the lefties were losing it. One of their anchors brought some extra crazy to the Views desk on the ABC.
Well, I think it was everything that you need to know about Donald Trump in one weird white nationalist Nazi-type rally. And, of course, there's historic parallels to where and when this happened.
Joining me now is the Deputy Opinion Editor at Newsweek and author of Second Class, How the Elites Betrayed America's Working Men and Women, Batya Ungar-Sargon. Thank you so much for your time. What is your response to the manner in which MSNBC and other leftist media covered Trump's Madison Square Garden rally?
Thank you so much for having me. And also thank you for your continued humor about all of these utterly ridiculous things, Rita. I know that I and all of your viewers so appreciate your perspective on everything. You know, it is so incredibly ridiculous the way they talked about it. They talked about this as though nobody had appeared in Madison Square Garden between the Nazi rally and Donald Trump showing up, when, of course, it is one of the most desirable venues in the country. Tons and tons and tons of people have appeared there. This rally was full of Jewish people, supporters of Israel, Black people, Hispanic people. The idea that it is a Nazi rally is utter wishful thinking by the left. And you have to understand the reason that they're doing this. When they call Trump Hitler, they're doing so because he has vowed to rid this country of the scourge of illegal immigration. And so what they're doing is they are comparing Hitler, who took away the citizenship of millions of Jews and then mass murdered them, with Donald Trump, who is effectively saying, I'm going to put Americans first, American citizens first, and take away the scourge of illegal immigration, which not only has brought a lot of violence to this country, but also has been a downward pressure on working class wages, because of course they come and they compete with the working class. So why do they do this? Why do they compare Donald Trump, who's trying to protect American citizens, with Hitler, who murdered German citizens who happen to be Jewish? And what they're trying to do there, Rita, is erase the distinction between citizen and non-citizen, right? They're saying that for Donald Trump to deport illegal immigrants who are non-citizens is the same as Hitler killing actual citizens. They don't want you to know that there is actually a difference between being an American and not being an American, because to them, it means nothing to be an American. They do not believe that Americans have the right to insist that it means something to be an American and that we owe something to our fellow Americans, because they feel that they owe them nothing. They have nothing but contempt for their fellow Americans, especially the working class.
Well, these comparisons with Hitler, they're not only offensive and absurd, as you've just described, but if you actually looked at that rally at Madison Square Garden, there were Israeli flags. There were plenty of Jews in attendance inside the venue and outside the venue in the overflow area as well. And the speakers were from all sorts of backgrounds. We had black speakers, brown speakers, and to characterize it as some sort of white supremacist Nazi rally is so absurd. But on your point about conflating illegal immigrants with legal migrants, that is something that the Democrats do quite deliberately, and the media allow them to get away with that. Why do you think that is? You mentioned that for a lot of them, being American doesn't actually mean anything, but surely those in the media would want to make that distinction, that there is actually a difference between illegal and legal migration.
They totally don't believe in that distinction. And the reason for that is that for the elites, the open border is very much in their economic interests. They talk about immigration through the lens of morality. We should help these poor people from other countries. But they think about immigration through an economic lens because the elites are the consumers of low-wage labor. They are the people employing all of these illegal migrants. And of course, they would rather pay an illegal migrant a fraction of what they would have to pay an American. So it is very much in their interest to open that border. It is the working class who pays for it. So this open border situation that the Democrats have been pushing since Donald Trump showed up on the scene has been an upward transfer of wealth from the working class neighbors of the elites into the pockets of the elites. And what's so ironic, Rita, is that through the 1990s, it was the Democrats who insisted that we have a strong border because their base was labor. It was the Democrats saying, why would we allow millions of people to come here from other countries and undercut our workers? That's suicide. That is collective suicide. When Donald Trump showed up and said, wow, we should probably control immigration and protect our working class, the Democrats realized that he had picked up not just their agenda, but their working class base, increasingly of all races, as you so beautifully pointed out. The real threat that Donald Trump poses is not that he is a divider. It's that he has united the working class in one voice against the elites who hate them.